Today's episode is brought to you by DNA Sports Training. If you or someone you know wants to take their game to the next level, then hit up DNA Sports Training. Visit DNASportsDenver.com to book a training session. We offer specialized sports training from football to track and field and everything else in between. Whether you're an offensive or defensive lineman wanting to get off the ball better, or you're an athlete wanting to improve your speed and agility, we have something for you over here at DNA Sports Training. Visit DNASportsDenver.com right now to sign up. Again, DNASportsDenver.com. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. DNA Sports Training Podcast back one more time again. Shout out to all the listeners. What up, Don?
What up? What up?
Yo, we got a very, 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 very special guest in the house.
Yes, sir.
My man, Elias Dorati. Elias, say what up.
Hey, what's up? What's happening, people?
Hey, yo, we're going to get into Elias a little bit more. He's visiting us currently a wide receiver at Western Colorado University now, right? Formerly known as Western State. Great kid, great athlete, man. We look forward to getting to talk about some of the stuff we got to talk about with him. If you haven't joined us before, make sure you go play catch up on the last 5 episodes. Literally, we're a month tomorrow, Dom, and looking at the numbers, dude, we've got well over 600 downloads. Our website views are pushing 1,000 website views. We're over almost 2,000 views on our social media platforms. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, for following us, for listening. Do us a favor, please hit that share button, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube page. DNASportsDenver.com is the website. Go over there, book you a session, get you some merchandise. You can find all of our socials on there. Man, Dom, it's been a crazy week, bro.
Yeah, hey, that's good numbers, but we got to run that up. So all you viewers out there, share it with your friends, share it with your families, and tell them to check us out, man. All it takes is a little bit of time while you're doing the dishes, while you're working out, whatever. Just hear us out. Check out the podcast, and then check out the website.
Hey, there's nothing like word of mouth, and that's the best advertisement you can do for small business. And sometimes people think they have to buy stuff, and I'm not even asking you to buy nothing, man. I'm just telling you, share it with your friends, share it with your people. We've got a lot of great information that comes out on this podcast. We constantly do sections on student athletes and what it goes into being a good student athlete and making the right decisions and whatnot. So please, 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 we can't ask you enough to share, like, follow. So, hey, man, did you catch UFC last night?
I did. I did. It was exciting, man. There was a couple of fights that I wasn't really too pleased with the outcome. I think there was early stopping in one of them. But that main event, man, it wasn't the outcome I was looking for.
Were you going for Pena?
I was going for Pena, yeah.
I like Pena, man. She's cool. I listened to her on Rogan podcast one time, dude, and she's like super down to earth. Nunes is that dude, that chick, man, whatever. She's dope. And I don't know if you saw the first Nunes Pena fight. She kind of seemed bored, Yeah. I mean, she had accomplished so much.
Well, she was coming off of injury back then too, and she was like in her worst shape of her career. She said
she definitely
came off of COVID, So Pena said those are a bunch of excuses.
She looked good yesterday.
But, man, it was like every time she connected her, she just folded, bro. And she'd get right back up, and she fought. And Pena's a warrior, bro. That's why I thought she was going to pull it out.
Them last 2 rounds when Nunes would make half guard, and then Pena figure out a way to kind of grab a hold of her arm and almost get her. There's a couple times she escaped submission, man. And
that arm bar she had looked like it was about to be over, and then she let it go.
It looked like she almost had a Kimura in that last minute of round 5. And, I mean, she's been getting dominated in that whole round in terms of, like, just on her back time. Yep. Good fights, though, man. Derek Lewis got knocked out.
See, that was the one I thought was a little premature, man. Like, yes, he wasn't defending himself, right? He was taking a lot of punches, but he bounced right back up when he hit the mat, So I think that ref got a little bit too happy and ended that fight a little too soon, honestly.
You know how it goes with heavyweights, man. They swing big, bro, and I guess sometimes you gotta pull the plug early. The assassin baby, Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
We got him a nice little knock. His eye looked jacked up, dude.
Yeah.
He was interviewing with somebody and had looked like he was crying blood out of his eye, but it was just right underneath his cheek, man. That thing looked rough, dude. And
but the way he finished it was amazing.
They got fight of the night, which I thought maybe Pena and Nunes, could have gone that way as far as fight of the night, but can't argue with that, man. I mean, Moreno, he's a beast, bro. He did his thing.
Pantoja, whoa, bro. He ended that fight so quick.
Yeah.
Like, it was just ridiculous. Once he got on that dude's back, it was like there was no getting off of him, and he choked him out.
Yeah.
What was it? Within a minute or two
I don't even
of the
think
first
he had
round?
I don't even think he had his arm underneath his neck either.
Nah, it was
just
across his jaw.
face. Yeah, facing his chin, and he freaking tapped him, dude. But, yo, that was a crazy fight. I'm ready for the trilogy with Nunes and Pena. I mean, the money's set there. You know, it should be a big fight. That's probably one of the best women fights that I've seen, to be honest with you. Seen a lot of battles, but that one right there, dude, that one was legit. But, yo, like we said, we've got a very, very special guest with us. We're here to talk about him today and a lot that we do. Love to introduce y'all once again, Elias Zarate. What's up, Elias, man? So just give us a little background on yourself, man. I know you've been playing ball for a long time. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, though.
I started playing football at like 8, 9 years old. You know what I mean? A lot of people started playing really early. I kind of started late, but yeah, I've been playing football for a while now. You know, thankfully I got the opportunity to go play college football, and I'm still up there, you know, doing my work. So see how it goes this season for sure.
That's awesome, man. I know Coach Dom is super proud of you guys. They're playing at that next level and getting that opportunity that doesn't come to a lot of people. I'm beyond proud, man. Every time I see you guys on social media or when I run into you at the school, it brings me great joy, man, because it's easy to get caught up in the numbers game and get caught up in the system and just get caught up when there's all kinds of BS around you. And to see that you guys kind of avoid that path and worked your tails off to get where you're at, man, it's definitely something to be commended for. And, dude, I can't tell you how excited we are to see you guys just continue to grow and continue to do your thing. Few questions for you. When we talked to Brandon a couple of episodes back, we talked about your group of seniors and the leadership that group brought to the rest of the team. How were you guys able to be so influential and to get the rest of the fellas to buy into what you guys were demanding of them?
I think we were just so close, that captain group, we were just so close with each other that it was like, okay, like all 4 of us believe it, and we're going to go out there every day at practice or the game. It don't matter, a meeting, a team meal, and we're going to go show that we believe in this. So, you know, I feel like just us being so close to each other and really like pushing that agenda, like we believe this, so let's get to it. I feel like that really influenced our team a lot and, you know, helped us out in our success that season.
For sure. It's definitely easy to follow somebody when they believe what they're doing is the thing to do, you know?
For sure. And for me, when you first came to us, you were already seemed very humble as a young man, and you usually don't see that in a lot of kids. So for me, like, when was your turning moment of like, I got to take this serious in high school? When did you have that moment of clarity for, you know, this is a situation I got to take serious?
Yeah, so, you know, I started off at Wheat Ridge, you know, playing football there. From a young age, you know, I've been through a lot in life, and it's not like I'm trying to feel bad for me or nothing. But
it's your story.
You know, I've been through a couple things. So, you know, I've definitely been humbled early in my life, and I got the opportunity to see like the lows and the highs of life. So, you know, any opportunity I get, I come in humble, just quiet, ready to work, because, you know, that's all I can do. So, you know, I came in the North, and I was like, okay, you know, I feel like I got did dirty at Wheat Ridge, so I'm gonna come into North, you know, with all my people, my friends that I know from since I was a little kid, and I'm gonna give it everything I got.
Yeah, and you sure made the best of that little bit of time that we had with you, and like I said, you were extremely humble, and it's just a pleasure to see a young man, you know, like you said, go through some things and not make it define you, you know, but be your driving push. So
I think it's easy to get derailed too, bro, when you have situations that don't go right for you. Like you envision a certain plan for yourself, and then things don't go the way you planned. It's easy to be sidetracked and derailed and be bitter and to be pointing the finger at other people. And, you know, it's harder to take up that responsibility upon yourself and say, all right, you know what? I got to do this. I got to do that. Got to work harder, whatever it is. Like sometimes it's like I tell my kids sometimes you got to admit you're wrong, even if you might not be wrong. Like sometimes it's for the better good, right? Just say, you know what, I'm wrong, whatever, and just move on. It takes a certain type of humility to do that, and not a lot of people can do that. And so to be able to kind of say, hey, you know what, I got to work harder. I got to get better, whatever it is that is holding me back, I got to make sure I'm the one breaking through that. You can definitely see it in you, definitely see it in your group of seniors that you guys came up with, but to see the work that you put in, it's amazing, man. I know when you came over to North with us, you had to sit out a number of games before we started, and you still went hard in practice. You came down to JV one game and fooled with us in JV one game. But, like, you know, it's easy to sit there and mope, take it, half-ass things, not show up, but you showed up. So definitely could be commended for that, man. You know, you've been playing ball for a while, like you said. When did you realize that you were pretty good at football and that you might actually be able to use football as a tool to go to college?
I realized I was all right at football, like Futures. Futures definitely, you know, helped me set that path for myself. Like, okay, I'm going to use this as a tool to get to where I'm trying to go. Yeah, it's like, I think it was Coach Marquez. It was me and Brandon. We were the only 7th graders starting on that Futures team that year.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, like, we're kind of good. So I'm going to see how far I could take this.
Very nice.
That's what's up. You know, a lot of us have motivations of why you did things or why you do things, and you kind of touched on it earlier, but just going in a little bit more depth, what is Elias's why?
My why? I mean, I don't want to settle, you know what I mean? I want to push the envelope as far as I can. I want to be the best that I can always. And, you know, my biggest motivator, my biggest drive is definitely my family. You know, my mom, my little sister, my dad.
Yeah.
You know, I always use them as motivation, and I promise them the world, and that's what I'm trying to give them.
That's what's up.
That's funny, man. I used to torment your dad when I was a kid, bro. I grew up with Rick, your older brother Rick, and I used to torment Rick, and we used to run around the neighborhood. And I remember your dad used to have this dope red Corvette, man, way back in the ditty, and he used to try to get close to that thing all the time. Your dad be looking out like, get away from my car.
Back up.
Oh man, it's cool like that though, because when I found out. No one. There's not the Zarate last name isn't necessarily a common. It's not like Martinez out here. You know what I mean? So it was like, hold on a second. And then I seen your dad. I was like, oh damn, like, you know. So small world. I love remembering a lot of that stuff. Remembering the big catch against GW, that first play. Just little fun stuff like that always takes me back, man. You brought it up a little bit earlier. You said you've gone through some challenges in life. We all have, and that's kind of what defines our motivation and our drive. What are some of the biggest challenges you had to overcome early in your football life, grade school, high school, and how have them victories helped reinforce your confidence when you go out there now?
Yeah, so, you know, one of my biggest challenges was, again, like when I transferred to North, you know, I had to sit out those 5 games. So it was like it left me with, you know, a shorter time on the field in high school than I would have wanted. So it was like, okay, I only got these 15 games from my high school career, you know, not including playoffs or whatever. So now I got to work even harder so I could, you know, show what I got going on in these 15 games.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So growing up, you know, I'd like to ask this question to players. 2-part question is, what NFL player did you look up to as a kid?
As a kid, I used to look up to AJ Green on the Bengals.
Yeah.
When he was, you know, when he was doing this thing, I used to look up to him. His story was cool to me. Yeah, like everything that he went through to get to the league and ball how he was, that was my inspiration.
Yeah.
That man was a beast in college too.
Yeah, he was.
He torched CU one year up here, man. Like,
I mean, you got to think about players like that, and you kind of wonder, like, what if he would have landed somewhere else in a different situation, like
opposed to Cincy?
Yeah, like right off the bat, like how would it have turned out for him? You know what I mean? Because, you know, athletes are great, but this is a team game at the end of the day, and when you get to a certain level of competition, it's not going to be just one player that really is that driving force. So, you know, they had good teams, but he could have been in better situations too. And
you can say that about so many players, man. How many quarterbacks have been drafted to just rough situations that there's instability at coaching, there's instability in the front office, instability in ownership or something, and they just never really have a chance to be what they can be. I mean, some can argue like Drew Lock here in Denver was drafted into a situation. Now, I don't know if that boy can play.
He was the bad situation.
But I'm just saying, you know.
Come on now.
Well, no. I mean in the sense that, all right, if you're a player that needs a certain type of motivation and you get drafted into a team that isn't providing that certain type of motivation, like I think not only is it on the player to kind of get motivated, but it's also on the team to understand the room.
Oh, yeah.
And if you got a guy that's not picking something up, you got to be able to have the staff in there to identify that and be like, hey, we notice you're lacking in this, that, or the other. what can we do to make you better, to help you improve that? And maybe that went on. I don't know.
Jared Goff. That's why Jared Goff's no longer with the Rams. He couldn't diagnose the defense. They had to really, so rumor has it, like basically tell him who to throw the ball to, when to throw the ball.
Dumb it down a little bit.
They had to really, take it back to elementary level.
1, 2 read and then go.
Yeah. And, so he's no longer a Ram because of it. Second part of that question, though, is what player do you think your game resembles? If there's any player out there that you maybe resemble or you try to emulate a little bit on the field, who do you think that would be?
I've been told by Donovan. Yeah, I've been told that I play like Jarvis Landry. That's what he told me.
Hey, that's a compliment right there, man.
Oh, Jarvis.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
I'm a Dolphins fan, dude. So he used to play for the Dolphins. Loved him when he was with the Dolphins. Kind of got a raw deal and got traded to the Browns. And
and I'm excited to see what he's gonna do this year.
Him and Deshaun,
with the Saints, bro.
Oh, he's with the Saints now. That's right.
The Saints. Yeah, he's with the Saints.
Yeah. Hey, Saints got some receivers now.
Yeah, and they
got Olave,
that
right?
Defense too. The only question mark there is their quarterback. What's Jameis gonna do? But Jameis, gets back to eating those dubs. You never know. The Saints could make a run for it.
I was on the gram yesterday and I saw Jameis dropping a dime, dude, to I forget the kid's first name, but Olave, their rookie wide receiver.
Yeah,
just straight dime. I don't know how he got so wide open. It's training camp, so it's probably errors in the secondary, but he put it on him.
Jarvis.
Speaking of dimes, you see that one I sent you from Tua to Tyreek?
Yeah, I did see that. That was a good one.
Let's go.
That's a good one. Dolphins are going to be a team too, but
Dolphins are good in the preseason. It's a regular season. It gets.
Yeah, you gotta play all year long, man. You gotta finish. It's not how you start; it's how you finish.
So we'll get into some more of Elias's story. His current situation up at Western and all that here in a bit. But we wanted to flip the script and hop on some things that we kind of started talking about a little bit last week. And if you didn't hear this episode last week, we debated top 5 rappers or top 5 rap albums, and there was some highly contested debate about that. However, Don brought up that French Montana had mentioned something about record labels putting life insurance policies on
trying to get rich on someone else's life.
So he was on French Montana was on Academics Off the Record podcast, and he brought up the fact that he believes that the labels receive a large sum of cash if one of their artists get murdered. And he even said, quote, "But now it's even crazier because they get life insurance on artists." When asked by Academics if they're being realistic, he said they're being realistic, and you're supposed to have life insurance anyway. But when the label does it, if you don't have one, that's crazy. And so that brings up an excellent point, because if these labels are cashing in on dead artists, dead rappers, I mean, there's got to be some sort of moral, ethical kind of line they're crossing.
Yeah, he literally says, "You're preying on his death. You're preying on making millions on his death." He's telling them, like, you're basically hoping that all these artists are going to die so that way you can make it rich. That, man, it's just, it brings up so many questions when you start to think about this and think about older rappers. In 2021, I know there was at least 20 rappers who were fatally shot. Some artists to mention: Nipsey Hussle, Young Dolph, Slim 400, which then some speculate led to the stabbing of Draco the Ruler. And you got to think about all these different rappers that are dying left and right. Like, how many of them did they have life insurance policies? How many labels out there are growing their business because somebody's dead, and these families are mourning and they're not, what are they doing to help them out? Like, what portion goes to the family? Like, so many questions when you start to think about these things, man. It's unethical from the start.
Well, battle rap and rap in particular, it draws a certain type of person.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're from the streets.
Certain crowd.
Live a street lifestyle, know?
Yeah.
And if you know this as a label, one would think, all right, you know what, let's try to get this man right. We can make a lot of money together. Let's try to get him right. And if you know this as a label that certain things are a problem, why aren't you trying to intervene at that point instead of, because the optics on it now look like, yo, I'm about to strike it rich with this guy because I know he's beefing with everybody, and we're going to put a life insurance policy on him, and when he dies, we're cashing in. Like, it's just wrong, man. Like, it is. Yeah. The optics are bad.
Well, they're taking you could lead a horse to water, but you can't get him to drink mentality, you know what I mean? So they're not trying to help these artists, you know, better their lives and change some of the ways that of before that kind of brought them down. They're kind of encouraging them to stay in the same lifestyle and the same environment, so that way they can make it big, you know, they can hit that cash cow.
Well, and that lifestyle's kind of been more marketably acceptable, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not a stigma as much. Like, weed smoking, you know, gang banging rappers, it's kind of it's its own thing. I think people have started to see it as a form of entertainment, because a lot of it really is just entertainment.
Yeah,
there's a lot of these guys that don't live that life.
Yeah, most of them, a good healthy chunk of them don't live that life. I'm sure some of these guys that got murked, they may have lived that life before, and they're probably trying to get away from that life. Yeah,
but they don't. Sometimes your ghosts follow you. You know what I mean? So I think there's an issue with benefiting off of that, especially if. Now, listen, if we're putting a life insurance policy and I'm a rapper, you got a life insurance policy on me, but my wife and my kids are my beneficiaries, and you got one to recoup money for the label, cool. Like, I can see it there, because now you're taking care of my family too. Like, if something should happen to me, because think about it, like, it's not just violence and stuff like that that happen in the streets. You know, tour buses crash, planes crash, people die suddenly. Like, it could be anything. COVID, you know what I mean? Yeah. It could be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything streetwise. So if you're taking care of me and my family and you're recouping some of your losses, okay, I can live with that, right? But if it's you're banking off of my downfall, you're banking off of my faults instead of trying to big me up and trying to get me right, dude, that's wrong. Yeah. And I feel like long run, there's more money in like trying to get that person right than there is you're banking off of their downfall.
Yeah, for sure. You know, if you have somebody that is that talented, why don't you want to better them so that way they can better you? You know, pick each other up instead of trying to bring somebody down just so that way you can benefit. Makes no sense. How long do you think this has been going on?
It's funny you asked that, bro. So I was doing research, because after you brought this up last week, I had to figure some things out, because I was wondering is this just exclusively something done to rap?
Yeah.
Which I don't think it is, but it's harder to find other examples. I think that stuff's kept more on the hush, maybe some NDAs involved. But I found this story back from '98 of Bushwick Bill. Bushwick Bill, the Ghetto Boys. Yeah. He was signed to Rap A Lot. He was going through litigation with Rap A Lot. And he alleged the label demands all of their artists on the roster to take out a life insurance policy on them, with Rap A Lot as the beneficiary.
That's crazy.
And he said, he's like, I think it's unconscionable to have this type of clause in an artist's contract. I think it often makes the artist worth more to a record label dead than alive.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy, man. And you said 98?
98.
98. I wonder if it was going on before that, because I got a question for you.
What up?
Do you think Death Row had a policy on Pac? What about Bad Boy on Big?
Look, I'll tell you right now, I know both them men were owed lots of money by both them labels.
And I can tell you both them labels are rich, you know, for a long time. Like, Suge's been he was locked up and still, you know, sitting fat. So
you know how it goes too, when an artist dies, their music, their artwork becomes more valuable, more people will buy it. So how much more money off of that part of it did they make? And then if you factor in possible, if they had life insurance policies on these guys, yeah, they're worth more dead than alive.
And then that adds another plot to the twist, right? Like, who killed him? You know, there's all these speculations out there, and people say this, people say that. Like, it makes you really think, like, was Suge behind it?
Well, you hear all the conspiracy
Pac
theories
behind Big?
Yeah.
I mean, Puff behind Big a little bit to get that money. You know, they both kind of, maybe they came up with this master genius plan together. Who knows? Maybe, you know, they're in the background, you know, not in the video dancing, but they're in the background collecting that money, you know? So,
well, you heard all the conspiracies. I mean, anybody that grew up in that era, and, you know, Elias, this might be a little before your time, but anyone that grew up in that era, there was always conspiracy theories. Hey, Suge got Tupac killed. Puffy got Biggie killed. There's always been these conspiracy theories. And so when you see stories like this, and then you start putting things together and you start understanding how the game works, because the record industry is crooked as shit.
Yeah.
You know, and I dabbled in the game a little bit, nowhere near on this level. But even on the micro levels, on the entry levels of this game, promoters are shady.
Yeah.
You know, there's very few out there that do solid work.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to my boy Trav from Slow Pain, because he was one that did solid work all the time. So knowing this, knowing how things work, you just wonder, man, like, considering the value of some of the artists bring to the label, is this something that should be considered as accepted in standard practice? Or is this something that maybe someone else needs to look into to kind of regulate?
Well, they need to regulate it for sure. I mean, nobody should be reaping benefit off of anybody's death.
But aren't these
other than their loved ones? You know what I mean? Like, other than their children and their family. Like, these people have they're people, man. They're not objects, you know. So, like, they have families. So that money needs to go to their families and helping them deal with the situation, opposed to lining someone's pocket and buying them another Rolls Royce. Like, you know.
But being devil's advocate, aren't the labels just protecting their investments?
They are. You know, one would say it's smart business, but you know, smart money isn't good money all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you're a record label, you want to be, you know, you want to have people that want to fuck with you just because you're a genuine person and you're a genuine company who does good business. You know, I think if you're one of these businesses that are doing this, eventually you're not going to have any more artists because they're going to catch on to it. You know, I mean, I guess you could say, like,
I don't know. The thing about the rap game, though, is there's so many artists you haven't heard of ready to come up.
Well, what about this? What if NFL teams, organizations, and colleges were taking out short-term disability policies on athletes when they got hurt?
They put insurance on contracts to cover for injury. Like that's a common practice in the NFL and in the majors.
Workman's comp, but I'm saying like, what if they signed up for like Aflac, right? So that way, if somebody's hurt, every time they're out, they're collecting a check on the side for something.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have some shadiness going on behind the scenes. Them contracts, dude, the way they're worked, I wouldn't be surprised if they had something, you know, where they're protecting themselves from, you know, for instance, Kyler Murray just got paid, right? And, you know, he plays a style of game where, you know, one hit away from being done. You know, what protections? Like, I would expect the team to put some protections in their contract for that, but that's different though, because that's injury. That's not death.
Yeah.
You know, now my question with this, and this kind of where my point of view is, would this be more acceptable if the labels also took out a policy that would benefit the family of the artist?
I mean, like, you mean equal amount?
I mean, yeah, like, all right, hey, we're taking out a life insurance policy. We're going to pay for the life insurance policy. It's a, $500,000 policy, or it's $1 million policy, whatever. I don't necessarily know if equal amounts. I think, me personally, I would say equal amounts, or even more favored towards the family than the artist, but knowing how much money goes into creating music and recording music and writing music and everything that goes on beyond it. It's easy, but it's not easy. Like, it's simple, but it's not simple. There's a lot of money that goes into it. So I can understand if, the artists, if they took out a policy to cover their investment for the artist, but I think that's shady as hell unless you're doing something for the family.
Yeah, like, I don't even think if you do something for the family, it's appropriate.
No.
I think regardless, if you're making millions off these artists, you should do something for the family.
Shouldn't that be standard?
Yeah, it should be a standard.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that anybody out there should be really benefiting off somebody's death like that. It's just wrong.
What you think, Elias? You're a little quiet over here.
Yeah, man. I think it's, like you said earlier, like, the music industry is twisted. Like, these artists get pennies to a dollar from what they do, and these industries are just getting rich and their pockets are getting fat. But, they benefit solely off of everybody, off of, like, the whole industry. So it's like, if an artist dies and they do have some sort of life policy, it's kind of messed up because, it's another way for them to exploit that artist, and it really is crooked.
Yeah. And he brings up a point too with that, and how they do these different little things to kind of screw artists over to get extra money off of them. Mm-hmm. Taking money off of their tour, or taking money, off their merchandise or whatever. So maybe they should just put a policy in the artist's name for the family, and hey, this is trade-off because we make so much off of you. We want to take care of you, and unfortunately, the way the industry is, I don't know that we'll ever see anything like that where they're just like, hey, we're going to do this for the better good because it's it's what's right.
It won't happen. They'll word it some way to where they say, we're doing this for the family, but we're going to recruit our money before you take your money, and by the time they get their money, it's going to be nothing. Artist's death should not count as their ROI. It should not be their return on investment. You know what I mean? Like, so they're investing into somebody. That's their loss. If they pass away, then you lose. That's just business.
Yeah,
you
corporations don't take life insurance policy on their employees, and if they pass away, they get money off of it.
Yeah, that's crazy. They offer them. They don't take them out.
They offer them to you for your family, but they don't offer them to you to recoup them themselves. So it makes sense. If corporate America doesn't do it, the industry shouldn't do it either.
Yeah, no, it's wrong in every facet, regardless of how you think about it. They're just hungry. You know what I mean? Money hungry.
Speaking of hungry, dog. Yeah. Hey, yo, shout out to Janice's Catering. If you're looking for a catering service for your event, I highly encourage you to give Janice's Catering a try. It's a family-run company featuring Mexican-American cuisine, from enchiladas to street tacos, fajitas. They throw it down, man. They got the delicious green chili, the beans, the rice, all the fixings, man. They're legit. From small gatherings to large events, there's no job too big or too small for Janice's Catering. Weddings, birthday parties, anniversaries, funerals, business lunches, graduations, any event. Make sure you hit up Janice's Catering. Find them on Facebook at Janice's Catering Colorado, or give them a call at 303-669-2215. That's Janice's Catering.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, I could probably use them right now after the busy week we've had, man. Ooh. It's been a grueling one. It's been fun, though, right, because we're doing what we love. But it's been a pretty busy last 4 days for us, brother. I
haven't got down like this for a little bit, man, since track season ended, and even just the heat of the summer, man. It's been great, though. The Wheat Ridge Vikings football camp, the little guys, man, that's been a blast. And our camp that we had this morning.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun, bro. It was different. I haven't worked with young guys for a long time. Like, it's been a little bit. I've been dealing with high school kids for a little bit more recently.
Different beast.
Sometimes it's like herding cats.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else, dude. The more you go through it, the easier it gets. The better they are. The more they listen. The more they understand what's demanded of them from you. So, I had a blast, dude. Shout out to all the young guys that was getting that work in, the parents for making sure they had their kids there. Lots of good athletes this week, man. I couldn't believe how many young athletes we got up and coming, and getting them into the right program is going to be key for them.
Yeah, man, it was truly fun. And, like you said, there was a lot of young athletes out there competing. I just want to give a shout out to two in particular, and not playing daddy ball or anything like that, but two young men participated all 4 days, not only in the Wheat Ridge camp, but also we're out there today for ours. And I just want to give a shout out to Jonah Morales and also my son, DJ Aguirre, second grader and the eighth grader. Those young men are committed to putting in work, and they want to make sure that they better their craft, and it showed. They were there all 4 days, and in my opinion, all 4 days they were, standouts that kind of were putting in some work. So shout out to them. There was a lot of other kids that performed. We had give out some gifts and some awards for camper of the day, I guess you can say. Mm-hmm. Man, this 7th grade kid, coach, we got to get him on our roster of training. He kind of got mad at me because we were doing one-on-ones, and he straight bull rushed this kid. But he, his pad level was a little high. You know what I'm saying? And I was just trying to critique him a little bit. And he's like, "Well, I've been doing this for years like this, coach." And I said, "And I've been coaching for years."
I remember that. I do remember that,
you know
actually.
What I mean?
Yeah.
But this kid, man, Malachi, for the 7th grade Wheat Ridge Vikings, this kid was phenomenal, bro. Strength on him was ridiculous. His get off was pretty good, but again, pad level would probably be the only thing that I would critique there.
Well, I say, and I'm sure Elias can speak of this because I'm sure he went through it when he was playing ball. Sometimes, like you're a decent sized dude. Yeah. Sometimes you're physically bigger and better than the competition.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where the competition size catches up, and you can't just bull over people.
Yeah.
So it's important to learn them skills early, so that you can go into your bag of tricks and be like, "Oh, got this big fool? I got you, bro. Let me get underneath your pad level real quick and bump you back because I got this mean-ass bull rush that once I drop my ass a little bit, get underneath there, you're going back into your quarterback's lap."
Yeah.
I was always the big kid on my team. Like, I remember my dad used to have to carry the 1 year I played Pee-wees, because I only played in 6th grade and then I played in high school.
You still are.
Shut up. But my dad used to have to carry my birth certificate, His parents were literally like, no, get that kid off the field. He's an 8th grader. And I'm like, dude, I'm in 6th grade. I got a squeaky ass voice still. Like, what's going on? But, shots out to Malachi. He did great. Made some of my offensive training look bad. But I'm looking forward to working with these kids in the future, man. Because
me too.
They all showed up, balled out. It was a little warm for a couple of days. No excuses. We had some ass draggers. But even when we told them, get a little more bounce in your step, they get to working. So I'm super excited to see all them. Shout out to our 2nd graders. Yeah, they held their own. It's cool coaching the little guys, man, and seeing it from a young age. Little Michael, when he was trying to tackle everybody, playing beyond the whistle, just
or when he was trying to get up from the ground because his helmet was too heavy.
It's cool, man. Seeing these young guys, dude. It's fun to see them go, man.
Yeah.
You remember when you played Little League?
Yeah, I remember it very well, man.
Yeah.
It was an interesting experience.
Who'd you play for?
I played for the Mustangs.
Oh, okay.
Over there.
Pecos Mustangs, dog.
Yeah, we was practicing at Horseman.
See, we used to play. You know where the Pecos Community Center's at? It's like 36th and Pecos.
Okay.
It used to be the old center. I don't think it's anything now. I think it's like a career development center or something like that. They used to do boxing and basketball and football there. But that's where the Mustangs started at. I was on that first team for them. They used to be the Vikings way back in the day, and then they became the Mustangs.
They never see us.
Haters used to call them the Mustard Stains, but whatever. Man. Who'd you play for, Don?
The Hawks.
Oh, the Pal Hawks, huh? Yeah, that's right. You, Jacob, and all them, huh?
Yes, sir. I played for a couple teams, actually. I started with the Jaguars at Lama. And then we went over to the Hawks, went undefeated, Super Bowl, state champions,
Bro,
you know how we
my last Pee Wee game, we beat the piss out of the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you're older, so you're probably going up against someone a little softer, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, going back to that, my dad, birth certificate thing, so me and the homie Cornelio Arce, we were the 2 biggest dudes. They made a big old stink about it. We couldn't play together. So Cornelio got like the 1st and 3rd quarter, and I got the 2nd and 4th quarters.
Nah, they did you
straight
like
up,
that?
Dude. Straight up.
Oh, that's cool. That's like this participation bullshit we have to deal with these days.
That's why we kick the shit out of them, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes it be like that, Coach.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach AJ though. Shout out to all the other coaches out there, man, for the junior for the Wheat Ridge Viking program. A lot of great athletes coming through there. Saw some injuries. Hopefully them boys get healthy. We send our prayers and well wishes to them boys that caught them injuries. Sure. But shout out to what they're doing over there, man. They got funneling in a lot of great talent and trying to get these kids to find passion and love for the game. So
yeah, and great coaches, at all levels. I know a lot of these guys personally, and they're fundamentally teaching these kids the right way. We get freshmen in all the time that want to play quarterback but aren't quarterback. Brandon, a lot of different things like that. And
or come in with bad habits,
or don't want to be coached in certain aspects. And, I'd already been doing this, coach. I know this, I know that, but don't know, fronts and alignment and things like that. So,
it's good they demand so much of these kids during their practices and during their seasons. Speaking specifically of the Wheat Ridge Vikings program, that they demand a lot of these kids, because when they get into high school, there's definitely going to be that demand for them to perform and them to give their all. And I don't think they understand it. Elias, before you came into high school, did you understand the demand that was in high school football?
Not really. I mean, we are in the era of social media now, so like we could see everything that these high schoolers be doing on YouTube, but it's like it's a difference between seeing something and actually doing it.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. So as we mentioned last week, we talked a little bit about our top 5 rap albums.
Oh, and we had some haters. Huh?
I won't call them haters, dude. I'm going to call them people that wanted to point out some flaws in what we did, but we're right and they're wrong.
You could be nice about it, but I'm going to call them haters because, we knew before we put this list together that it was hard, first of all, and we knew we were going to leave off some people.
We prefaced it with that this was freaking one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, something that we put on the agenda and then we almost took off because we didn't want to do it. But, we had some people mad.
So this is a new segment we want to bring to the podcast, and we highly encourage you guys to get involved. This is called our mailbag Ask DNA. If you go to dnasportsdenver.com/askdna, you can submit a question, submit a comment, submit a complaint. Maybe you want to hear a certain type. Maybe we're not covering a sport or something that you want to know about. Hit up dnasportsdenver.com/askdna. And submit your questions, submit your comments, submit your complaint. And we got a couple.
Yeah.
You want to go first? You want me?
I could go first. And I was joking about the haters, kind of.
No, I'm not.
But,
we love you,
I kind of agree with this one a little bit. Little upset with myself for not really thinking about it. You know what I mean? But
so before you say that, let me just say that was your thinking for leaving this one off. I mean, I know I didn't. I think I brought him as an honorable mention in one of his albums. I don't remember.
Well, I put him on my list, but not this album specifically.
Okay, well, this is your fault. So this person that has a little axe to grind. That Coach Dom, you make sure you talk to him.
Yeah. So I was at a graduation party and I was pulled to the side by several people about this one, actually.
Well, thanks for listening.
And they were kind of upset that I left Reasonable Doubt off, and I agree. I think it's one of Hove's best albums. Jay-Z, if you don't know who Hove is, and I didn't put it on there. I put The Blueprint on there, but I left off Reasonable Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt was dope.
It was, man.
It wasn't The Blueprint.
I put The Blueprint on.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't.
Yeah, to me, I like The Blueprint a little bit more. I could play it a little bit more through. But, you had great songs on Reasonable Doubt.
For sure.
Dead Presidents, all the greats and the classics, bro. So I'm not mad at that mailbag. But, I could have done better.
The
but
difference
is what it is.
You were looking at a polished Jay-Z opposed to a raw Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Right? Reasonable Doubt was his second album?
Yep.
And in My Lifetime Volume 1 was dope, man. Yeah. I love that song. Who You With?
Yeah.
That's my shit, bro.
Yeah.
Sink this ball in your hole. I'm Tiger Woods. You know what I mean? But, I think the difference was a polished Jay-Z versus unpolished Jay-Z. Plus, the production was stupid on The Blueprint.
Yeah.
You had Kanye really exploding onto the scene on there with some of his production. H to the Izzo. Come on, dude.
Yeah. It was classics, man. Classics. So, I'm not mad at that, but it is what it is.
So, our boy Tiff.
Oh, yeah, Tiff.
Shout out to Tiff for listening. And we're going to get you on here with your wife, man, so you guys can talk nutrition with these kids and with these athletes. But
sure.
Tiff wants to know how the hell Shady wasn't even on the honorable mention.
Yeah, hey, it is what it is. For me personally, I love some M, but he's not even on my top 5 rapper list. I think he's very talented. He has some of, we talked about this, right? Some of the best verses in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? But as far as top 5, he's just not there for me. I think M, Cannabis are kind of the same person, and where's Cannabis at? We ain't talking about Cannabis, but we're talking about Eminem.
I think Benzino said that when he was trying to diss Eminem, saying that if he was black, he'd be Cannabis.
Yeah,
and maybe I think Eminem's better than Cannabis, to be honest with you.
No, he is, but there's similarities there. So, I think that for me, he's just not on my list.
I mean, the Slim Shady LP was dope. That one and the Marshall Mathers LP. I think the Slim Shady LP is my favorite one, to be honest with you, because it flexed a lot of creativity. Some of the characters he brought forward in that album were dope. It didn't make my top 5, dude, just because there's other albums that move me. You know what I'm saying? I relate. I brought up Aquemini. I relate with that album so much, man. So, you can't be wrong in these kind of arguments, in these kind of situations. There's so many dope artists. There's so many dope albums. When I left here, I turned on I turned on some Immortal Technique, Revolutionary Volume 1.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, how did I not mention this album? This album is so dope.
Yeah, it's all preference. It's all preference and what you enjoy. Some of us could put one album on and listen to it all the way through, and some of us can't listen to that same album all the way through. For me, who I said are albums that I can listen to all the way through. All Eyes on Me. I'll put it on and I'll play it all the way through. Yep. You know what I mean?
The double disc, boy.
Yeah, College Dropout. I'm gonna put it on and play it all the way through. You know what I'm saying? For me, that's why they're not on my list. So we appreciate you guys going to the mailbag and giving us your comments and concerns, and we would love to have you guys, maybe call up sometimes and we could talk about this live on the air. We could debate it.
Yeah.
We can go, this could be a whole podcast.
Come and kick
this is a conversation that is all opinionated and it could go for a long time. So we appreciate our viewers and we appreciate you guys reaching out and kind of giving us grief about what we put on our list.
Should I put Elias on the spot real quick?
Yeah.
What's your what's one of your top? You don't have to go top 5, but just what's one of your favorite rap or hip hop albums that you can put on and play that thing from A to B?
Hey, I agree with you. Aquemini is a great album.
Oh, yeah. My dude.
Yeah.
See, I knew Elias was the shit before.
Yeah. Yeah. If I had to pick one album that's really resonated with me throughout my life, it'd have to be "To Pimp a Butterfly" by Kendrick Lamar.
Yep. And see, that was on my list.
That was on his honorable
mention list.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, you could resonate with it and you could play it all the way through, bro. And he's not just talking. Like, he's talking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so
that's the great thing with music, bro, is it resonates with your soul.
Yeah.
Like, and if you look at religions, like every religion uses music to usher in the presence of God.
Yeah.
Right. And so it touches you to the very depths of your being. And
sure.
I think when you find them albums that connect with you, like, you're gonna listen to that forever. One of my favorite Chris Rock jokes is in one of his stand-ups. He's talking about
which one? The one that got him slapped?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, he goes, he was talking about music and he was talking about what he listened to. And he's like, whatever you lost your virginity to is the music you're going to be listening to the rest of your life, right? And I was like, yeah, that's about right, because I love Genuine,
Yeah.
But it's true, though, because music touches your soul, man. Music takes you to places where you've had sorrow, where you've had joy, and, you can remember them feelings become real again. When I listen to Mariah Carey's One Sweet Day, I think about my grandfather, and I sometimes get a little choked up thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because when he passed, when he fell out and had his situation and he passed, that song was playing.
Yeah.
And that song speaks to me when that comes on. So I love music, man. It's part of the reason why I used to write music and perform music and do music, because it's therapy. When I couldn't talk to somebody or didn't feel like I could talk to somebody, I can always talk to my notepad.
Yeah.
I can always talk to a beat. You know what I mean? So, man, music is soulful, man, for real. And you can't go wrong when you're picking the top 5, no matter what anybody says.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely well said right there, brother.
So listen, we really want to dive into Elias's experiences as a college football player. Want to talk about his immediate future, what he's looking forward to this upcoming season, what he wants out of it. For those of you who don't know, Elias Zarate is our special guest here. He is a wide receiver at Western Colorado University. Elias, how would you describe your experience as a college football player so far?
Man, it's been gritty. It's been like, it's a blessing. I mean, it's hard. I'll say it's tough for sure. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of, before you can get to any games or any like, oh yeah, I'm a star. Like it's all about hard work, and that's what it is, and I love it. Being a college football player, coming from where we're from, it's a blessing, because there ain't a lot of kids that come from North that can say that.
Yeah.
So, I love it. I've learned to fall in love with the grind, with the work. I've learned to fall in love with, even Gunnison, and Gunnison is a completely different place to Denver.
That Western Slope gets a little different, doesn't it?
It's just a little wild out there. But, I've learned to fall in love with all of it, and, I love college football. It's great.
Nice.
When was the moment that you first realized you were in college, your oh shit moment? Like, damn, it's for real.
About a month ago.
Oh,
it's
really?
been, because I've been, man. So like we said, it was like, we lost that first year because of COVID, so it wasn't a normal season. It wasn't a normal, like, football season or anything. We didn't have fall camp or any of that.
Yeah.
And then last year I was coming off of that injury from that summer. So, it still wasn't clicking for me. About a month ago, I was like in the middle of a workout and I was feeling really good. I was doing my thing and I was like, wow, like I'm really playing college football. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
So as if losing time and normalcy due to COVID wasn't enough, you experienced some adversity early in your college career in the form of an injury that you mentioned. How have you been able to overcome them obstacles, and what are you doing now to continue to rise above them?
I just had to put your head down and keep pushing. It's really what it is. It's all about, continuing through the dark times, through everything. That injury was definitely rough. As an athlete, especially going to the collegiate level, you know, a lot of people's like biggest fear is like, oh shit, like an ACL.
Yeah.
And you know, it happened to me, and I was like, that was one of my biggest fears too, and it happened to me. So you know, that obstacle really just became more motivation for me. You know, I pushed myself every day through my PT and everything. You know, even through practice when I wasn't at 100% in the fall. You know, I pushed myself through everything, and that's really been a motivating factor for me, and I use that a lot as, you know, my driving factor this season for sure.
Man, I think with his background too, I think with your background too, Elias, I think that's probably helped you a lot. You know, overcoming a lot of stuff early in your life, being humble, right? Being humble and understanding like, shit, now I got to go through this. Man, props, dude, because not a lot of people, I know people that have gotten hurt in kind of that spout the end of their career, you know. So excited to see you coming back.
Yeah, excited for this season and you know, everything that you're doing and bouncing back. You know, it was just a minor setback for a major comeback, but this season's coming up. What are your personal goals for this season?
I got a lot to prove to myself. First and foremost, I got a lot to prove to myself. You know, this season, I just hope I can get myself in a good position where I get playing time and I can show these coaches like what I'm really about and you know, how I really play, because I haven't got the opportunity to show them, and they haven't been able to see me, of course. But yeah, this season's all about proving a lot to myself, you know, about my athletic abilities and whatnot.
That's what's up.
So on this show, we talk a lot about being a student athlete, the challenges that come with being a student athlete, outside of the injury and outside of the COVID stuff. What have been challenges thus far as being a student athlete, and what have you done to kind of overcome them? What have you done to make them easier for you?
Man, being a student athlete is tough, especially like how I said, you know, I went from Denver to Gunnison. It's a really big change, and it's like there's a lot of kids out there like me that's from a big city, and then they go to a place like Gunnison, and it's like you're shell shocked.
Yeah.
So, you know, as a student athlete, regardless of where you are, you're always going to have those struggles with mental health, and that's a big thing, and that's been a big topic. You know, recently at our school, we had one of our basketball players, one of our like younger star basketball players. You know, he unfortunately took his life, and you know, it's like that aspect of mental health for student athletes doesn't get talked about enough, and I feel like that's really the biggest thing for us is just being able to handle all the pressure, you know, the adversity, you know, the hours that we have to put in is crazy, but you know,
and performing at the top level with expectations that are far more greater than what you've ever had on your shoulders before. So
yeah, man. You know, first and foremost, you know, our prayers and condolences go out to the family of your fellow Western, you know, student. And it's just great to hear you already kind of speak about something like that, and you know, and kind of know that is an issue, and kind of get it off your chest for some of the viewers out there that maybe are out there and are afraid to kind of say that they're dealing with some of these issues. You know, it's okay to talk about these things, and you know, I personally want you to know. You know, if you're ever dealing with something, you know, you always have us. You know, you always have all your coaches that we had, and if you ever need to reach out to us, we're here for you and everybody that we've ever coached. So
I appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, that's definitely. You know, I used to tell some of the kids I coach, yo, if you guys are ever at a party and you need to get picked up because you're in a bad situation, call me. But that also goes with that kind of thing too. If you're in one of these situations where you're not sure why you're here, why you should be here, or you're questioning why you want to live anymore, and you need someone to talk to, a non-judgmental head, just to vent to. Sometimes we need a vent. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we need to get shit off our chest. And as men, you know, it's hard sometimes to kind of let your hair down, so to speak, and to be humble enough to be like, yo, I'm really struggling with this right now. And I went through a divorce some years back, and it was hard. And it put me in a dark place. And I started using this hashtag for everything I posted about it called Can I Be Honest? And it's all about being honest with ourselves. Like we got big shoulders, but we're not made to carry the load. You know what I'm saying? We're a community, bro. Like when we come together in unity, we're able to overcome a lot of things. And I think we forget that we're here to sharpen each other, and we're here to build up each other. So we should be able to confide in each other as men our struggles, because we go through it on a daily basis. And ladies, that's not to say that it's not for you either, because you know what? We're here for you too. And we got wives, and we got sisters and daughters, moms and daughters that, you know, would love to be there for you and to help you get through some things. So any of y'all ever going through that, man, please hit us up, hit up a stranger, hit up somebody that wants to talk. You'll be surprised how many people are in your corner that you don't see.
Yep. And how many people can actually relate to some of the things that you might be going through. You know,
Facts.
You never know until you speak to somebody.
Facts.
I know I want to go on. I have another question for you, but it's kind of giving you a little plug, a little shout out. But why should people follow you and the rest of your Western teammates?
We got something special going on at Western right now. First of all, we're getting a new stadium, so that's always a plus.
Yeah.
But other than that, we just came off of a RMAC championship season. We got something special going on. People should tune in because we're up next for sure.
Yeah, talk about it. That's what's up.
RMAC, man, that's a tough conference, and you guys come up on the top of this last year. Shout out to y'all for the hard work you guys put into to get there. I look forward to this season. I used to work, so I lived out in Grand Junction for a bit, and I worked for Colorado Mesa. So I used to do not play-by-play. I used to do PA, so public address announcer. I do the football games. I did the volleyball games. So I know that conference pretty well, and that's a tough conference, man. You got the Mines, you got Colorado Mesa, and so you guys come through and do your thing. That's what's up, man. I'm excited to see what you guys got to do. We do got more. There's more to Western Colorado University than Austin Ekeler.
Yeah.
Right. So shout out. I'm excited to see what you guys got coming forward. Liz, I'm excited to see what you got coming forward this year for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And, before we get out of here, I asked Brandon, your senior captain. I asked him, and I'm sure you remember his answer. If any game on your schedule is marked, what is it for you?
Adams, without a doubt. I can't wait to play him.
Yeah, that's what's up.
You hear that, Brandon? He's coming for you, dog.
Yeah, it should be an exciting one. And like we told Brandon, Coach Al and I are going to have to make it out for that one.
Oh, yeah, we road tripping.
We're excited to see what's going to go down.
You keep talking about he wants me to come down the middle. I'm going to come look for him down there. Yeah. I'm going to come look for him.
Go crack him. All right, man, Gunnison's a nice town, dog. We got to go out there.
Yeah.
We got to go out there. You've fished the Gunnison River out there yet?
I'm not much of a outdoorsy, fisher type of person, you feel me? I'm really really a city kid boy. For real.
City
so
boy
I just be chilling in my room on TV or whatever.
But listen, when we get out there, we're gonna go have some fun. We'll go out into Montrose. We'll go head up Montrose. There's some places to eat out in Montrose, that are cool. Straight fire. There's a lot of fun stuff around there. Yeah. So when I moved out to the Western Slope, I discovered parts of Colorado I'd never seen in my life. And I'm born and raised here. So, things get to be a little bit closer to you out there. So make sure you take advantage of that. Head down to Ouray when you get a chance, probably a couple hours from Gunnison. Okay. Go sit in them hot springs out there and go see them nice young ladies that are out there.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, if you got a girl, he ain't gonna go look at no young ladies. Yeah. But no, man. Hey, Elias, man, we can't be more thankful for you joining us, brother. I truly mean it. If there's anything we can do for you to help you as an athlete, as a man, as family, please let us know. Never hesitate to ask. You guys, that senior class always has a special place in my heart. That team always has a special place in my heart. I think just because it was one of the most coachable groups that I've been a part of. And, as a coach, the hardest thing is when you get a group that just doesn't want to listen, don't want to buy into your program. And from day one, even when we got there, I think it was y'all's junior year. From day one, you guys were locked, loaded, and bought in.
Yeah.
And then when you guys hit your senior year, it was like something clicked even more. And you guys were there, man. And you guys demanded a lot from everybody. And I think when you look forward 10, 15 years from now, people will talk about how that class demanding so much from them brought them success later on in their life. Because I don't think people realize as much that the field translates to real life every day. Yeah. And when you have someone that demands a high level of work and just a high level of expectations from you, that carries on, and you demand that of yourself.
Yeah.
If it's anything that team learn from us, I hope it's that they learn to push themselves as much as they can, because only good things come from that.
Yeah. Well, you never know how far you can go until you push it, man.
Exactly.
You think this is your limit, and you think I can't do no more. then the next thing you know, you find yourself doing more. So all you out there,
and then it's a good feeling, right? Yeah. When you get to the other side of that, and you're like, "Oh, this is
look
success.
how much I did."
Like, this is what success feels like, right? Because success is measured in different levels, you know. And when you work hard at something that you thought you couldn't do, and you just push through the adversity, that's success.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah. For sure. Before we close out, anybody want to shout out?
Man, shout out to my boys Brandy, Donovan, Mike. You know, that's the squad always and forever, and my brothers. Shouts out to all my boys at Western. You know, let's go do something crazy this season. Let's shock everybody again. And then thank you guys for inviting me. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Dom, any shout outs before we close out?
Yeah, you know, I want to give a shout out to, you know, my boy Christian at Black Sevens. You know, he's just done so much with us, man. And I just want to give my shout out to him and let him know that we truly appreciate the help that he's done with us and the advice that he's given us, you know, and some of those conversations, you know, they've went a long way, and our success is his success at this point.
Shout out, Christian. We appreciate you. Yo, I want to give a shout out to Jack Armillo at Arsenal Custom Apparel. He came through for me a couple weeks ago on some last minute shirts. Appreciate you, Jack.
That's right.
Make sure you check out the website, dnasportsdenver.com. Go book yourself a training session. Go book yourself go buy yourself some merch.
Check DNA out the Sports podcast.
Yeah, check out the podcast. Ask DNA. Run our numbers up, man. Go find our socials. Get it popping for us because, we're nothing without y'all. You know, the people make this show go. The demand for what you guys want to hear make this show go. So, we appreciate you. I'm Coach Al.
Coach Dom.
My boy Elias.
Hey, shout out DNA Sports Training for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week, y'all. We out.
We're out.